Fourth time. Twice in quick succession, but fourth trial of the same podcast. My god, the things I have to do for you guys. You better show some support, alright. Anyways,
Watch it.
yeah, watch it, please. Hello, YouTube and Spotify. Welcome to yet another podcast. Welcome to the Prime or Crime podcast. And today, your hosts are Ronika Vinash, aka Diablo Ronin,
And Sharon Curry, aka Lady Diablo.
and we have someone special today on the podcast. I mean, it's the same host itself, but she's
It's just
doing,
plain old
yeah,
me.
she's doing a face cam debut for the first time. A big round of applause. So, we've got a pretty special story for you guys. The Bandit Trio, or aka the Sinister Sisters.
Yeah.
Although, before we start the podcast, if you guys want a video form of this podcast, feel free to come on YouTube and check the podcast out because it's going to contain images from the crime scene or generally from the crime itself, and it's much more interactive, you can say.
Just to form a
Yeah,
connection
just to
with the
form a
story.
connection with the story. But although if you are busy and you want to do something while still listening to the podcast, feel free to listen to the same podcast in the audio version on Spotify. I'm going to be releasing them on both the platforms. If you're rolling, just roll us on and stay rolling.
Before we move ahead with the story, I'd like to remind all our listeners and viewers that everything that is being said and shown in this podcast is for educational purposes only. We mean no harm to any of the victims. We neither are we pointing fingers at anyone and making fun of anyone's feelings. Whatever is being taken, whatever info or pics you see is from the internet. Nothing has been fabricated.
Disclaimer, we advise your discretion. This is a trigger warning in case if you guys easily get triggered by things like sexual or graphical references to crime scenes, feel free to switch away and watch something else instead. So, why don't you tell us? Why don't you start the story, Sharon? The
Sure,
story of the Bandit Trio, aka the
why
Sinister
not?
Sisters.
On the 19th of November 1996, 21-year-old Renuka Shinde and 23-year-old Seema Gavit apprehended on charges of kidnap and murder. They were arrested along with their mother Anjanbai and Renuka's husband Kiran Shinde. On June 29, 2001, Renuka and Seema are sentenced to death. Now I know everything is here and there, nothing is connected, we don't even know who these people are, but don't worry, you'll get to know as we gradually move along with the story. So, in order to know why these people were sentenced to death, what did they do, and how they came to be who they are, Diablo, why don't you take us back?
Coming to the background check, the story begins in 1973. Anjana Bai, the mother, she runs off to Pune with a truck driver, having illicit ties with him. Anjana Bai had her first daughter with this truck driver itself, but the baby was born once the truck driver had betrayed her or left her for good. Anjana Bai was very poor at this time, although her entire life had always been with poverty, you can say. Poverty and her were hand in hand, and she was a big victim to social marginalization or caste marginalization, you can say. It it's kind of a tough deal. I'm pretty sure my Indian viewers do know a lot about it already. Although if you guys don't, it does take a toll on you. To overcome her poverty issues, right then, after she was betrayed for the first time, she falls into the hand of petty crimes. Crimes like pickpocketing, chain snatching, and many other small things like very minor things which doesn't even count as a big crime, you would say. Ah, you see, minor crime, major crime. And then her target location or her hunting grounds were usually massive public areas, for example, temples or carnivals or festivities, or wherever there were a lot of people, because it's easy to get out of places like that. You commit crime, no one notices you, there are so many people, and you just make a run out of there. So, like I said, at this point of time, Anjana had her first daughter with a truck driver named Renuka. This was in the year 1973. But things couldn't run the same way forever, and Anjana decides to marry another person who is a retired soldier. His name is Mohan Gavit, and she marries him. At this point of time, she is having a daughter named Renuka. She has a second daughter with Mohan, and they name her Seema Mohan Gavit. But like I said, her life was always revolving around crime after her first husband had left her for good. So at this point of time, she had many cases on her name. In counting, they say it was 125 cases which was written on her name, and due to this, they were having regular police raids at their house. Now, come on, Mohan is a soldier, he's a man of his pride, he's respected in the society. Police coming over to your house on a regular basis looks like harassment. It is kind of harassment, and Mohan did look at it the same way. Not being able to take this anymore, Mohan ends up breaking the marriage with Anjana because of her bad habits and all the cases she's got on herself. He moves out and marries another lady in Nashik this time, named Pratibha, and they end up having two kids of their own. The elder daughter named Kranti, I believe. Am I right, Sharon?
Right.
So, in case if you guys are confused about the family tree, Anjana Bai, her first husband, brackets the truck driver, they have a child, Renuka, born in 1973. Anjana Bai, Mohan Gavit, along with their daughter, or Anjana's second daughter, Seema Mohan Gavit, in the year 1975.
Right. So, well, to be really honest, I don't blame Mohan for doing what he did.
Yeah.
It might look wrong in some people's eyes, but I don't think so. He's a retired soldier.
And no one
has
wants
his own
a
pride.
name like that on their head, do they?
Exactly. He has some kind of reputation to keep up.
Exactly. Okay, I told you guys about Anjana now. Sharon, why don't you tell us a little more about her extended family, Anjana's extended family?
Sure. So now coming to the year 1989, Renuka married for the second time to a man named Kiran Shinde, who was a tailor. Now, not much is known about who her first husband was, what he did. Nothing is known about them. I don't know when she got married to him or any kind of details like that, because we tried searching. All we could find is about the second marriage, nothing about the first. So she married Kiran Shinde, who was a tailor. But there is something that we do know about her first marriage. She had a son named Ashish with her first husband. Again, we don't know when he was born, but yeah, all we know is this Ashish is a toddler at this point. Now, since Kiran Shinde being a tailor and not being able to provide enough for the family, again, all the four of them, that is Anjana, Renuka, Seema, and Kiran now, start committing organized crimes. But at this point, there is something different. They had a getaway vehicle, which was in fact Kiran's car and was a Fiat. And the second thing was that they had a clean chit exit card who happened to be Ashish. So, yes, they did use Renuka's son to commit crimes. How this would work is, for example, let me give you an incident. In the year 1990, Renuka along with her son Ashish visit Chatur Singh temple in Pune. In the year 1990, Renuka along with her son Ashish visit Chatur Singh temple, which is in Pune. And while they are here, Renuka gets caught stealing a purse from someone. But now when people start accusing her, what she does is, she points at Ashish, her son, and goes ahead to say that I am a mother with a kid. I can never commit such heinous crimes. So don't accuse me. And now, once she saw that this strategy actually worked, they decided to use kids as cover for their crimes. But now, Ashish, come on, Ashish would never be young forever. Like, he was eventually going to grow up. So they started kidnapping toddlers between the age 1 to 10, and they would use these kids for petty crimes like pickpocketing, chain snatching, etc. They would also use them for begging and, again, like I said, for cover. Yeah, so Diablo, you can see, right? They never stopped their crimes, they only kept upping their game every time.
Oh, this wasn't the end of it. This is where things.
Oh, this wasn't the end of
This
it.
is where things take turn for worse. Coming to this part, this is a major crime part wherein things for them resorted to murder and kidnapping. In the year 1990 was when their kidnap and murder spree started. Coming to their first kidnap and murder, it was a boy named Santosh. This boy was 1 year old. He was kidnapped somewhere in Kolhapur and brought back to Pune. There's nothing much known about when and how it happened, but all we know is it was in Kolhapur and the boy was brought back to Pune. At this point of time, this kid was used just as planned. They used him as a distraction to a crime. So basically, what happens is Seema was committing a petty crime, I guess, probably doing pickpocket or whatever. It wasn't mentioned, and at that point of time, she's been noticed or she is being witnessed by a stranger. Now, for Seema's luck, Anjanbai, being the sharp one she is, notices this stranger looking at Seema committing the crime. Being the sharpest of the minds in the room, she picks up 1 year old Santosh, flings him onto the road. The poor kid hits his head to the road, probably hurts himself, and starts bleeding, causing him to cry. This crying of this poor little child injured, fallen on the road, causes a big ruckus, a commotion, you can say, and our opportunistic sly fox, you can say, the group of three, this trio, pick the baby, flee the scene. They use the kid as a distraction. Although, however, the kid continues crying, and probably these people have gone somewhere far at this point of time. Anjana Bai, being heartless and brutal, being annoyed by the kid's cries, ends up smashing this kid's head to an electric pole, mind you, while Renuka and Seema are witnessing all this and munching on vada pav. They later end up disposing this boy's dead body in one of the abandoned auto junkyard somewhere in Kolhapur, which was found later on by the police, thus striking a start to their crime spree, which went from 1990 and came to a halt in 1996. In this span, they kidnapped around 13 children, killed around 9 to 5, out of which few confirmed names are Santosh, Anjali, Shraddha, Gauri, and Pankaj. There are more who are alleged to be killed. These kids were usually from places like Nashik, Pune, Mumbai. Basically, you get the idea. It's situated in Maharashtra itself. So basically, their main target would be families from below poverty line, because no one really cares about these families. These kids go missing. Fine, it's okay. Another one missing. That's all. Nothing else. Most of the kids they kidnapped usually range from the age of 1 to 9, because easy to carry around and be used as decoys. All of the murders were done by smashing the heads of the kids into walls or electric poles, or even by repeated blows to the head. Few of the instances to these ways are: we don't know the victim's name. A boy was hung upside down and his head was smashed repeatedly into the wall until the kid was dead. Another one was by drowning in the bathroom. This was done by Seema and Renuka, I guess, I'm not sure. Another kid was murdered and stuffed into a gunny bag and was taken to a movie theater while Renuka and Seema enjoyed a movie, and once they were done watching the movie, they disposed of this poor little kid stuffed in the gunny bag in the restroom of the movie theater. Doesn't this just shock you, Sharon?
It breaks my heart, especially to know that the people committing such uh, gruesome things are mothers themselves, especially Anjana and Renuka.
So when I was going through different various like forums for making this podcast, let me tell you, Sharon, when you talk about motherly love and motherly instincts, this is what makes me think a lot about this case, because now we know Renuka is a mother, so is Anjana, mother
She
of
is.
two.
Yeah.
So basically, like you remember when the truck driver left Renuka, Anjana, she was basically left with no one. She had a daughter of her own.
Right.
So did Mohan, and that time she was stuck with two daughters of her own and little to no resources at that point of time. We all know that at that point of time she was pretty young. Both the children were also pretty young.
Pretty young. Yeah.
That time itself, she thought that by committing petty crimes, she could provide for her kids. Now, if a mother does not have motherly instincts in her, she is never going to care about her kids. She can just abandon them and walk away. But she chose to take care of them, raise them, and get them things, be it anyway, but she got them things. That tells a lot about her being a mother. But at the
Right.
same time, her being the mastermind in this entire case shocks me a lot.
Exactly my point. Like, she had the instinct to take care of her kids, but not. She didn't have that motherly instinct when she went around killing so many innocent toddlers.
Just shocks me.
Just shocks
Just
me.
shocks
Just
me.
shocks me. Also, Diablo, like like they were believed to have kidnapped 13 children.
Yeah,
But you and I, when we were researching for this case, we came across so many sources that said that the toll went up to over 40 children.
exactly, exactly. Like I said, while we are recording the previous time, didn't I say that the number could have been 40 plus as well? Yeah, we don't know. The number could be anything. The crime could be anything for that matter. There could be more secrets hiding within their heads. It's all inside the perpetrator itself. We never know. We just get to know whatever they let out.
Yeah.
Anyways, tell us more about the case, Sharon. Just take it on from here.
Although Diablo, I would like to give a small little disclaimer for our
Oh,
viewers
heads
and
up, huh?
listeners.
Yeah.
Heads up, guys. Don't mind if you hear cracker sounds in the background. It's Diwali.
It's
Happy
Diwali.
Diwali.
Happy
Yes.
Diwali, Diablo
Happy
family.
Diwali. Yes, the Diablo family. Happy Diwali. But yeah, please don't mind the cracker sounds at the back. We couldn't do anything about that. Coming back to the story, let's head to the year 1996. Now, this is where the story turns for the better. In October 1996, Pratibha, if you remember, she was Mohan's second wife. She goes to the police station and files a complaint about her missing daughter Kranti. Now they believed and they suspected that Anjana, Seema and Renuka were behind all of this. Now I don't blame them because Mohan was pretty, sure that it was them because he knew about their crimes from before. Now when news of Kranti started going around, all four of them went into hiding. But then again they resurfaced a few days later, but it was at this point that the cops apprehended them on 19th November 1996. And when the police apprehended them, five of the kids' murders were confirmed, but the police believed that these people were responsible for kidnapping 13 children and murdering 9 of them. Bunty, Swati, Guddu, Meena, and Swapnil were the alleged among the others. Now, out of the four, the weakest one was Seema Gavit because she was the first one to give in and confess that yes, we murdered Kranti Gavit. And once we were done with her, we disposed her off in a sugarcane field. But she did mention that everything was done under her mother's orders. Seema also said that they had gone into hiding when news of Kranti Gavit started going around, and once that had kind of cooled down, they resurfaced back, but only to kidnap Mohan Gavit's second daughter, who was the youngest one. But they couldn't kidnap her because the cops were waiting for them. The cops were waiting to catch them, and they did. The lead investigating officer in this particular case, Inspector Mandaleshwar Madhavrao Kale, said they couldn't trace the girls being Seema, Renuka, and Anjana. They couldn't trace the girls at the beginning, but when the three came back to kidnap Pratibha's younger daughter, they were apprehended. He also said, quote, "The sisters confessed to killing Kranti in Pune under their mother's instructions. We arrested the mother and seized all the belongings to find more clues. There were many cases of missing children which were registered during the same time between 1990 and 1996 when their operations were at their peak." End quote. Now, Vidya Kulkarni, who was the gang's neighbor at the point in 1996, comes forward to make a statement. Quote, "My apartment window opened on theirs. I could see them beating up Kranti every day. I had many things to tell." End quote. She didn't tell anything.
First of all, she did not tell anything. That is
Right.
a whole case in itself. You're too late, ma'am. We do not mean to disrespect you, Vidya Kulkarni, whoever you are, wherever you are. We do not mean to disrespect you, but you, unfortunately, are too late. Because, yeah, because of your delay or maybe lack of self confidence in going and reporting this crime, we lost a kid named Kranti. Second thing, Sharon, the balls of this trio, they came back for his second daughter. There's a reason behind it,
Right.
though. There's a reason behind it. I will tell you guys why they came back for the second daughter and why I think they might have gone for the first daughter too. I think that could be the reason. I'll get to that. Case diary, by the way. This one's heavy. Brace yourselves and it'll melt your head. On 19th November 1996, accused 21-year-old Seema Gavit and 23-year-old Renuka Shinde were arrested on charge of kidnapping 13 children and murdering 5 to 9. Make note, I did not mention Anjana or Kiran's name. The reason why I did not mention Anjana's name was because just a year after their arrest, Anjanbai, the mastermind behind it all, after their trials, while she was in custody, ends up dying in custody itself. So basically, she's free of the crime and she is gone. But the reason why Kiran does not get involved in this case is because, first of all, he claims that he was never involved majorly in the crime. He had never killed any kid directly or kidnapped any kid directly, although, in my opinion, it's something else which I will come to at the end of the podcast. But the fact that Kiran did turn into an approver kind of gave him an easy way out of it. Since the court during verdict did not have a lot of hard evidence at their disposal, they strictly relied on the statements which were being made by Kiran Shinde himself. And since he was the sole eyewitness to the entire facade, whatever they had created, they did consider giving him a lesser sentence on the basis of honesty. During the trial, Kiran also did make a statement stating they kidnapped children from Nashik, Mumbai, Kolhapur, and Pune. The child would be kept in Pune residency. They would eliminate if they did not get any ransom. They kidnapped around 13 children aged between 1 to 9. By their own admission, they had killed 9 kids. Later on, R.M. Bomche, Kiran Shinde's attorney or the lawyer, makes a statement along the lines of though she got married. With very meager assets, Anjana and her daughter moved to Nashik. That was because basically at this point of time the truck driver had betrayed her, the one who she had eloped with. And at this point of time, the reason they came to Nashik was because Mohan had also broken the marriage and gone to Pratibha. That was because the police harassments. The reason why they came to Nashik, basically the trio, they came to Nashik thinking they could reconcile with Mohit. Sadly, it did not work out. Mohit, being a man of his own pride, he denied any kind of tie with Anjana ever again. This could be the reason why I am guessing they went ahead and kidnapped Kranti and they tried for his second daughter as well, but I'm just speculating. I have nothing as concrete evidence. Later on, to avoid police detection, the trio ends up coming back to Pune and they make Pune their second base of operations after Nashik. And in 1990, their operation begins full fledged. Due to Kiran's statements and him listening to his lawyer's words, he ends up getting a lesser sentence, like I just said, on the vote of honesty. 9 murders were charged against the sisters, out of which 5 were proven completely and 1 was partial, the rest 3 never to be known about.
I don't know why nothing could be proven, because the sisters themselves confessed to killing 9 people. Now, if the convicts themselves are confessing that yes, we did it, I don't know why it should be a problem to prove it against them.
See, sometimes I've seen cases wherein the convict does go ahead and claim to have committed a bigger crime to make themselves look bigger and more heinous in the eyes of the public. That's just a thing. That's just a killer's mindset. I can never relate to that. I don't know how it works. But at the same time, your point also holds true. If the convict himself or herself has accepted to that, just punish them according to that. It's their own words, so yeah, you're not held responsible for punishing them wrong. The other ones.
Although I do think Kiran should have received the same amount as the sisters, because he was involved and
Exactly.
didn't do anything about it.
Exactly. Because, like you always keep telling Sharon, even in the previous
Oh, yes.
recording, if a person is witnessing a bullying someone, and does not tell anything about it or apprehend the person, this witness is a bully himself or herself. Anyways, Sharon, go ahead and tell us more about the trial scene.
On June 29, 2001, the trial court sentences them to death. The High Court upholds the verdict on September 9, 2004, stating, "The nature of the crime and the systematic way in which each child was kidnapped and killed amply demonstrates the depravity of the mind of the convicts. We have carefully considered the whole aspect of the case and are alive to the new trends in the sentencing system and criminology. We do not think these appellants are likely to be reformed." The Supreme Court also confirmed the death sentence on August 31, 2006. Special Public Prosecutor Ujjwal Nikam, who is very famous by the way, he's taken care of a lot of famous terrorist cases.
I didn't know about that.
Yep. About the Taj attacks.
Oh, he's the
He
one?
was the one who handled
Damn,
that,
okay,
yes.
big person then.
Yeah. He said, quote, "We limited the period of killings for 6 years. However, this had been going on for longer than that. The women could not remember how many children they had killed."
Way to go.
End quote. By this you know that they must have gone over 40.
My god.
Clearly. In October 2008, Seema files for a mercy petition, whereas in October 2009, Renuka files for a mercy petition, both of which were rejected by the government of Maharashtra in 2012 and 2013. The petition was then forwarded to the President Pranab Mukherjee, which was rejected again in July 2014. Note the gap in the years. This will come in handy later. Rejection of these pleas, now the continuous rejection of the pleas prompted the sisters to approach Bombay High Court on 19th August 2014 seeking commutation of their death sentence to a life sentence. Basically, a commutation is something where you appeal for a higher sentence to be reduced to a lower sentence or reconsidering the whole case. Seeking commutation of their death sentence, stating that the state had taken an inordinate amount of time in seeking their mercy plea.
But they still end up doing what they did, which you guys will get to know.
In 2021, the sisters requested the court to commute their death sentence to a life sentence and also demanded to be released as they had spent 25 years in
which
prison.
is literally last year, 2021. Last year.
2021.
But literally this year, 18th of January 2022. This year. You get it? This year, the High Court ends up commuting their death sentence to life imprisonment. You guys get the gravity of the situation over here. The reason why they did that was because the government took more than what they should have taken. It took 5 years, right, Sharon?
5
Whereas
years,
it should have been
5
only
years.
3 years to accept their mercy petition.
3 months.
Oh, 3 months. My bad. 3 months for the mercy petition, but they took 5 years. Hence, their sentence was commuted. Way to go. Every time, every single time, incompetency at its finest. Not only this case, even the previous case. I swear to God, this is so annoying.
You should rename the series as Indian Judicial System.
I know. It should be changed from the Indian serial killers to Indian judicial system botch-ups. The judges state that the sisters' crimes were heinous and they were a menace to the society. Thus, they would remain imprisoned for their entire lives and never be released. Currently, they have been lodged in the Yerwada jail, Pune. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correct, but it is Yerwada jail, Pune.
Yerwada jail.
That is the end. But there is more going on. They've lost their death sentence, so we don't know what's going to come up next year because this was literally this year. And if there is anything more, we will update you guys about as and when the time moves on.
Right. Although, Diablo, I have a fascinating fact for you and the viewers and
Uh
listeners.
huh.
If these sisters had their original sentence carried out,
Yep.
they would have been the second and third women to have been executed in independent India since 1955.
Yes. I've completely forgotten about that. Remind me the name of that lady, the first one.
The first one was Ratanbai Jain. She was responsible for poisoning 3 kids and killing
My
them.
God. This was in 1955.
1955, yes.
The world. The world,
That is
I
a long time.
the world, I tell you, Sharon, the world.
I know. It's what? It's around 67 years now. Since, damn, 1955.
Although I had a few things to tell about death sentence itself. In India, I don't know how it works. The reason why death sentence makes sense in my head is because of this. I don't know how it works in India, but how it works in death row, which is in USA, is they throw you into prison for an undefined amount of time. They don't tell you when is your last day on earth. So basically, you're thrown into your jail cell, minding your own life, living with the fear of your death approaching any day, literally any day, but a short amount of time. You don't know when. And that fear is the fear which your victim might have felt. By your, I don't mean you. You guys are better. You guys are better than these people out there. But that fear which they might have created in their victims' heads during the last moments, you can say.
I know. And that proves, your point is proven by the statement that the sisters had given when they were pleading for their
Exactly.
protection. Makes sense.
They
makes
did
sense.
tell that it took a toll on their mental health, which was the intention, but never mind the government's botch ups.
It's all right.
Anyways, that's the story for you guys. So yeah, if you guys like the story, make sure to go down there, drop a like if you guys are watching it on YouTube, drop a comment, suggest us more, whatever you guys have. Your suggestions have been taken dearly this time. We did implement quite a lot of your suggestions this time and did structure out our entire podcast. It's fine if you guys enjoy it. We'll do it more. Talk to us if you guys want to in the comment section or in our Instagram, which is flashing on the screen somewhere right now. And feel free to share the video with your friends and family. This is family friendly content. I hope I didn't swear anywhere. Did I, Sharon?
I hope I did too.
Anyways, subscribe if you're new here and make sure to hit that bell icon down there to stay notified whenever I upload new videos. And with that being said, I will get more story for you guys like this. So until next time, stay safe, love you all, stay awesome, guys.
Stay awesome.